I love my country. I love our culture. I love our music. I love our literature. It's amazing, but I feel like now they're all gone. I didn't plan to be a pro-Israel activist or become who I am today. I was always against Erdoğan, and I knew rest of my life I'm gonna work against him because I don't approve anything he did to my country. Because we're not Arab, we are Turkish.
Okay.
And we speak completely different language, and our traditions are different. The way we live, the religion is.
Hello everyone, my name is Gideon Ben Avraham. We are here today with Türkü Avçi. She is a pro-Israeli activist, also a political activist that is trying to bring justice to the Turkish people, to have democracy. She writes articles. She also was in different media channels. So we are with her today. Good afternoon, Turko.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Let's please start from your story. You arrived to Israel in order just to be a student, or you really wanted to do something against Hamas and all those terrorists that are nowadays in Turkey hiding and taking the whole country and maybe the whole Middle East backwards? What can you tell us about that?
First, I came to study political science. I wanted to improve myself on Middle East, and there was no better place to study that, I think, in the world. And I wanted to know the Israeli people, Arabs, and Middle East. And but I didn't plan to be a pro-Israel activist or become who I am today. I was always against Erdoğan, and I knew rest of my life I'm gonna work against him because I don't approve anything he did to my country. But after I've been to here, after I actually learned Hamas, and I after actually learned what their plans on in my country and how Muslim Brotherhood founded, and all the organization knowing them in October 7, living the October 7 in Israel, it just changed all my perspective. And even before I came to Israel, I knew Israel is a real friend of Turkey. Israel is the only country in the Middle East who respects our secular constitution, our Atatürk principles, our women, our rights, and in the other hand, I know the pro-Palestinian ideology in Turkey. It was just helping one agenda. That agenda is basically turning to my country into radical Islamic regime. So this is how everything came to here and brought me here.
So basically, you are saying I have a problem in my country. My country lost its core values of democracy and freedom of rights, freedom of journalists, freedom to express ourselves, even safety. Turkey started to be a terror-supporting country of many terror organizations, including Syria, including Hamas, Muslim Brotherhood, everything that is like making the world and the Middle East not a safe place, and not a safe place to live in Turkey. So basically you, as a Turkish citizen that is care about her country, about her people, about her future in Turkey, understood that the way to solve this problem is to work with who started to be considered the enemy of the Turkish government, which is Israel. That's right?
Yes, and the Israel always. We were always been told that Israel is our enemy and Israel has plan on us, but in reality, we are the ones who always talk against Israel, who always talk about conquering Jerusalem, come to send an army to Jerusalem or send an army to Tel Aviv or Yaffo. And we are the ones who always have hostile speeches against Israel. And when Israel says something against it, our media giving us as Israelis giving hostile speeches against Turkey. But the big picture is not like that. And I know the second Erdoğan goes, we're going to have beautiful relations with Israel again.
That's what was always.
Yes.
Basically, I mean, but when was like the point that you decided that you wanna go to Israel to learn over here, to be over here, in order to do all those things? Like what did change you? What made you like being over here? And not like able to going back, because right now there are a little bit problems to go back, because basically right now you are they claim that you are supporting Israel.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about that?
It was a really interesting story. I was studying in Istanbul University, and during the corona, during the pandemic, I came back home and I was watching the TV. There was a conflict in Jerusalem, in Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood. And I was just curious about how Israelis see this story, how they defend what's going on there, because what I was seeing on TV, it was horrible, like it was like Israelis just taking people's home and just torturing them, just like that. So I searched about it. I asked my Israeli friends and I read an article about it. And then I was like, the story is really different. And afterwards, I saw an article from Hebrew University and I searched about Hebrew University and I was like, it's a great opportunity for me to build a beautiful career. I can learn Hebrew, I can learn Arabic, I can learn Middle East, and then I applied for scholarships. Like I text everyone, I talk with everyone just to come here and study here.
But basically, from other interviews that you had, you said that you grew up on pro-Palestinian propaganda against Israel, and also the Turkish media was always against Israel since Erdoğan came into power. And then eventually you had the ability to check the facts yourself and to see that it's not true. Is that right?
Yes. My parents, they're leftist and they were pro-Palestinian. My father has been to many protests for Palestine and he used to tell us, think about Palestinian kids 5 minutes every day. And my grandparents, my relatives, they're religious. They're religious Muslims and they were pro-Palestinian because of Islamic reasons. And so I get the fact from both left and right. But during the time, I could never relate myself with this movement because we were walking
the movement of
pro-Palestine.
Why? What was the reason that something has changed in your perspective about the conflict?
Because when you see the people, women who wants to protect secular values in Turkey, who are leftists, they walk with people who openly support Hamas, who openly support all the terror organization, and people who are against everything we want to protect. And in the end, I walk with them and I help their agenda. I help them to make Hamas base of Turkey, like their base. So
what did happen in 7 October that completely shifted your whole life into other direction?
No, even before October 7, I came to Israel and I was already in Israel for 2 years and I was studying and I was seeing and my perspective already changed even before I came to Israel, like making research, listening Israelis. Also my family stance, it changed because we saw like how pro-Palestinian agenda works for Erdoğan. And we didn't want to be there because our priority is Turkey, not Palestine. And we saw that Turkish government's priority to become Palestine, to change the walls or modern Turkey. So it already became changed, but on October 7, I decided to be an activist for Israel.
Okay, because at that time, like you said in another interview, Hamas, they killed the women's, they killed the Arabs, they killed even Muslim at that day, even Israeli Arab. So basically, you said I grew up in a secular Muslim family. If I was over there, they would probably also kill me. And you said, if I'm
They will
going,
kill me first because
okay.
because I'm against everything they defend. And also on October 7th, they went to kibbutzim. There were the people who helps Palestinians, who wants peace, who were who were really willing to bring peace and who were giving jobs to Gazans, and they were the first ones they killed. And I think as a woman who wants to protect women's rights and Turkish LGBTQ rights, I think I will be the first target of them.
Yeah, and also like you also mentioned that the Turkish media is not covering the truth. They are not telling them what's really going on between Jews and Arab, between Israeli and Palestinian. You said that you had went to the West Bank and you saw like Muslims that the only thing that they want to do is to get up in the morning and just kill Jews. And maybe other things that you see that in Hebrew university you have students, Palestinians that are learning in our universities, going to our hospital, getting medical service from us, scholarship from us, and they even favor them to be accepted to study upon other Jews or even serve in the military. What you can tell us about this point of view of what you said, and also in other interviews about these subjects?
It's interesting. I think it's how democracy works, and it was really extraordinary for me to see students from Ramallah, students from West Bank, and they're coming and they're taking scholarship from the university or from the government of Israel, and still they have full right to protest Israel and their actions and even work against the Israeli government. And it was really shocking for me. And this is the side that world doesn't see at all about Israel. Like they always talk about how the wall is between Ramallah and Jerusalem is like the border, the wall in the border, it's apartheid because it separates the Ramallah and Jerusalem, but they don't talk about how they were doing terror attacks from crossing that wall. And so this is, I think, what I'm trying to do.
So basically, you are saying that you are writing articles, you give interviews to Israeli TV, right? Channel 12, Channel 13, I-24, and also still get some invitations from time to time. So basically, you are raising a voice that is not been heard in Turkey anymore for a lot of time since the time Erdoğan got into rule in his office and is the president. So why you from all the people in Turkey was the only one that risked her life to get into Israel, to be far away from her family, to fight from the truth, for the truth, for your own values, your own ideology. This is basically justice for the Turkish people and also for Israel. What can you tell us about that? Like, why doing it?
First of all, it's just not Turkey. We see all this misinformation all around the world. Like when we read BBC, CNN, it's all around the world. And this is why I also do it in English, to tell my perspective as a Turkish woman lives in Israel. And
Can you tell us about the price that you pay from day to day on social media, on daily life because of it?
yes.
Okay.
And I think the reason that I came up, because I was in Israel and I was really connected with the Jewish people and Muslim community here, and I lived October 7, and I was already being activist was always already in my blood. I just couldn't stand silent, and it wasn't just. I think because I believed it wasn't just for Israel, but it was for my country, for all the Middle Easterns, and for the peace. I needed to do it. I think I had that belief inside of me really strong, and it kept me going. But it was really hard, as you said. And I had like a private scholarship that I found myself. And after the October 7th in Israel, and I've been on the news in Turkey, they cut their support to me, like they didn't want to involve. And then I've been on the news in Turkey, and they attack me and all kind of social media, and like they were like, I sold myself to Zionists and all kinds
And
of
all
stupid
the
stuff.
all the threats that
Yeah,
that you got.
exactly.
How it was like to hear or see a threat?
In the beginning, it was difficult.
It was like something like will kill you.
Yeah.
Will
Yeah, it's really like creative. Like they threaten, like it was like rape, kill, even like raping my grave, and all kind of stuff. And in the beginning, it was really hard to see them. Like I was like shocked because they're not giving me argument. You know, they're not saying, "Oh, what you say is wrong because of this and this." They're just telling me, "Oh, you think this, and we want to kill you." So it was hard, and my family is still there. So I have a big responsibility to not put them in danger. So I got scared in the beginning, and not scared, but it was so overwhelming. But then I changed my perspective, and I was like, they're just proving me why I need to keep going, because these are the people I'm fighting with. These are their characters. So now I just see those threats as something should keep me going.
Okay, so basically, let's start to see a view of someone like you that maybe knows better than all of us what's really going on with Turkey and the Middle East. So we spoke a bit about Israel. Now we want to understand what is basically going on in Turkey right now. What are the issues and what are the problems which you are trying to solve, and you're trying to use maybe Israel to help Turkey to change and to become like it was in the past, normal.
I'm telling you right now, Turkey's problem, not Middle East, not Israel, not Palestine. We have our economic collapsed. We still have earthquake survivors that lives in tents. We cannot afford to come Gaza, help Gaza. We have to help our earthquake survivors, our students. There are tons of problems. There are millions of people waiting for help. And I think we need to just go back to policy of peace at home, peace at the world, and just try to build a peaceful relations with everyone and focus on our internal problems first.
What are the internal problems?
I just
Basically in Turkey, economy.
Yeah, economy, the
Okay.
refugee problem, and also like every kind of thing you can think about. Our journalists in the jail. There's no freedom of speech anymore. People do not believe democracy anymore, and half of the opposition mayors are in the jail right now.
Okay, can you tell us about Akram Imamulo? What is going on with him right now? Because basically it was the hope of people like you that wanted a free Turkey which is related to the West and is going west and not going backwards into the times of the beginning of Islam. Because basically Turkish people are not originally like Muslim, and I mean they are Muslim, but they are not like originally have the same mentality like in Saudi Arabia. And right now it looks like Erdoğan wants to make Turkey into kind of maybe Saudi Arabia or another Arab country which is not fit to your own values. So what can you tell us about that? About Imam Ulo, what is going on with them right now?
Like, he was the biggest opponent of Erdoğan, and he was 100% gonna win in any election. And now he's still our candidate for next presidential elections, and they took him into jail with every kind of accusation you can think about, and now they're charging him for more than 2,000 years, and there's like a really terrible campaign going on against him, against his family, against his wife. It's just really disgusting on social media and like.
And he's also in jail, and they don't know when he's even going to be released.
No. He didn't convicted yet, and they don't even have like enough proof to keep him in the jail. They're just witnesses that they cannot tell their names, and all the file is like someone said that, someone saw that, and just like that. And now he's in the jail, but still people fighting for him to release. I don't know how it's gonna happen anymore. And so he was our hope, and I think he's still our hope. He's still our candidate.
So okay, let's try to think. What if you could change something right now? Maybe as a politician, as a journalist in Turkey, which is something that you are trying to do to be also a journalist and to affect everyday's life, and also awareness, to give awareness to Turkish people. What is really going on in Israel? What is the truth? What would you do in order to change the situation in Turkey?
I think I would definitely bring back the power of separation. Erdoğan changed the parliamentary system in Turkey, and I would definitely bring that back. And I will bring back the independent courts again. And now there is no one above Erdoğan. And when I was a kid, our constitutional court was really powerful, and they were the top power, and it was really helping and controlling our democracy. And I think this will be the thing I would bring back. Like, I think no president should be the top power. There should be always someone that controls them and like checks on them, and that protects democracy and every kind of value that the country has.
Totally agree with that, at least in Israel. What can you tell us about the pro-Palestinian agenda and intervention of Turkey in the Palestinian case, the Palestinian issue? How does it look like? Like how about what happened in the Hanukkah holiday when they attacked the Jews over there, or why even Turkey is like going with the Palestinians against Israel? What are the reasons? How does it look like?
First of all, it's Erdoğan's policy, and I don't think he does this because he cares about Palestinians so much. I mean, like last month, we lost about 20 soldiers from a plane crash, and we didn't declare a national grief, but we declared national grief for Hamas leaders, for Iranian leaders when they died. So it gives me a message that we prioritize those people more than our own soldiers. So then when I see this as something against my country, against my soldiers. And for example, on January 1st, there's going to be huge march for Gaza. People are going to do demonstration for Gaza, and they canceled all the New Year events for that. And it's basically they see New Year's event as something secular, and they're replacing for demonstration for Gaza. And I don't think we do all this stuff because we care about them so much. We do this whole stuff because we want to change some priorities in Turkey. And like there are lots of examples like that. If we were caring about so much about genocide and people's life, babies' life, why we didn't do anything about Yazidis? They were just next to us. They were Kurdish, and we didn't even know.
Or about 7 October itself.
Yes.
Israelis and Jews, even secular, had been massacred. But I want to ask you about the hypocrisy. Like we saw even in Israel, a lot of videos of racism against Arab Muslims in Turkey. So how come that can be racism against Arabs because they are Arabs, and then to say, okay, we support the Palestinian case, like Turks, even if they are Muslims, they want to stay Turkish. They don't want to be Arab.
Because we are not Arab, we are Turkish.
Okay.
And we speak completely different language, and our traditions are different. The way we live, the religion is okay. The prayers and everything they're same, but the way we live, it was different. And after the refugee problem began from Syria, from Afghanistan, and Iraq, and they had their own neighborhoods, and the people felt like attacked, like people didn't feel safe, and people start feeling like our culture is on attack, and that something is changing in Turkey. Our demography is changing. There is like Arabization in Turkey.
How does it affect the daily life in Turkey? At least in the last time that you've been there, in Istanbul or in other places.
I live in really secular place. It's different, but in Istanbul, when I was studying in Istanbul, and I was studying in a place that had lots of refugees, and if I didn't know I'm in Turkey, I study in Turkey, I wouldn't know it is Turkey. Everyone speaks Arabic. All the restaurants written in Arabic. The menus are in Arabic. And even when people go to mosque, Turkish men, when they go pray, they dress like you. They dress nice and everything. But when I see mosque now, I see like traditional Arab dresses.
So basically, it seems like you started to be occupied by
Exactly.
Arabization.
Exactly. And this is what I want to say, because we have been told all the time, oh, Israel is going to occupy us, Israel is dangerous, Israel is going to come to Turkey. But we don't see any Israel in our daily life, but we see Arabization.
Any Israeli occupation in Turkey?
Yeah, nothing.
Okay.
But we see Arabization everywhere, and it's just not refugees. Also Qatar, they bought huge amount of land.
That's something that we also want to speak about. Tell me, please, about the Qatari involvement and influence in Turkey or with Turkey.
First of all, they bought huge amount of land. They bought lots of citizenship in Turkey, and they involved pretty much a lot. Like they gave lots of money, and they don't really have a good reputation in Turkey and Turkish society. Even I'm even talking about the religious Turks, because we feel under attack. We feel like under occupation or something. Because now when you go to northern Turkey, it's mostly bought by Qatar. And
What about Qatar involving in Islamizing or radicalization of Turkey? There is something involved with it?
Yeah, of course, like when they come to your country, not just Turkey, you know, when you go to London, when you go to European countries, they see the place that they settled, it changed. It's not Europe anymore because they're coming with their culture. And their culture does not match with the...
Yeah, but it's not not just the culture. They're also trying to make problem to destabilize countries, to take
If you change
population
the
and
culture,
to
there's no
incite them.
stabilization.
Okay, so basically you are saying that right now the Turkish government and Qatar are like the same problem. So maybe in order to fight the problem that Erdogan is doing, also you need to fight against Qatar. It goes together.
Yeah.
Okay. What can you tell us about the involvement in Syria? Like, why would Turkey be involved in Syria in a place which been ruled by Al Qaeda hardcore members? Like those people can tomorrow or next week or the next year can make the next September 11 in Istanbul because they also see Turkish people also as not real Muslim, right? At
Let
least
me
from
tell you
history.
something.
Okay.
What happened in Syria, it's happened with Muslim Brotherhood. And Muslim Brotherhood was something established on 1928 against modern Turkey because Atatürk abolished caliphate and then
He gave up on the Turkish
caliphate,
rule.
and there's no caliphate anymore because Atatürk abolished it and they founded Muslim Brotherhood against modern Turkey because we were trying to make realignment in Islam and like trying to take back our culture and
To leave the Arab countries for their own.
yes, exactly.
And to basically
so
focus
Muslim
on Turkey.
Brotherhood completely established something against modern Turkey, modern Turkish values, secular constitution. Like their first conference, I don't remember his name, but their leader cried over abolishment of caliphate.
Hassan al-Banna speaking of the
Yeah,
first,
I think yes.
the first
It's in the records.
leader of Muslim Brotherhood.
And now we collaborated with them in Syria, and now we are neighbors with all kind of terror organizations, and
Also ISIS, they did a lot of terror attacks
yes,
in
just
Turkey.
this morning they killed 3 police officers in Turkey.
ISIS?
Yeah,
Okay.
and the members, they were Turkish citizens. Do you know how they impact Turkey? Like they brainwash people. Because they cross the border like they're going to supermarket.
So basically, this is really related to what you started to tell us in the start of the conversation, that basically Turkey is working against themselves, against the Turkish
modern
people.
Turkey, not Turkey. Erdoğan against
Erdogan.
modern Turkey,
Okay.
and it's obvious that he wants Turkey in constitution, in law, still a secular country. Not in practically, but in the constitution. And Erdogan's next step is to change those laws.
So I am starting to understand from your perspective that being a real Turkish patriot, it's not really going with Erdogan agenda. It's not just it's going against it. So from what we see, you are a real patriot, a real Turkish patriot. They love their nation, love their people, love their history and culture. And what Erdogan is doing is anti-patriotic. What do you think about that?
Definitely.
I mean, if you could see Erdogan right now, what you would basically tell him?
I would tell him to quit. Please leave my country alone. Like
they are blaming you or claiming that you are not a real patriot. You went to Israel, but basically what you are doing is totally patriotic for the favor of Atatürk's principles, which also he is jealousing and trying to imitate. So that's basically the story.
I love my country. I love our culture. I love our music. I love our literature. It's amazing, but I feel like now they're all gone.
I can tell you also about myself. And that will be like a little confession. My former family name, like my mother's family, they came from Qasim Pasha, which is basically the neighborhood that Erdogan grew up in. Our family name was Oz Isaac, which is totally Turkish. We arrived over in Israel. We started to speak a lot about we used Ladino a lot, which is the Spanish language that the Jewish people spoke in Turkey, and we stopped with the Turkish language. But from stories that I heard, Erdogan, even when he was 6 or 7 years old, even back then he was against Jews. He had like a really anti-Semitic behavior and perspective of how we like viewed us, while most of the Turkish people were friends with Israel. So it's something that started back in the days, and now we see the results. What can you tell us about the relationship between Germany and Turkey and United States? Because it's important, because Erdogan cannot do all those problems and supporting terror together with Qatar in Syria and Hamas, because he needs someone to back up him, he needs some alliance. So why do you think United States and other countries like Germany are keeping silent, or maybe while they are massacring Kurds in Syria, not in Turkey? What can you tell us about that?
First of all, in not just Germany, in Europe, we use refugees as I think as a really unhuman way, because the moment the Europe goes against with Erdogan, he says, "I'm going to open the door and I'm going to send millions of refugees to you." I think this is one of the threats that he uses. And with America, he has really good relationship with Trump now. And I even heard that he couldn't put Imamoglu into jail without America's backup. There was something that was going on in Turkish TVs. Like, I don't know if it's true or not. And he has, and also Trump can make anything he wants with talking with Erdogan. Erdogan just listens to him, and NATO has like 18 bases with American bases in Turkey. And so I think it's just maybe Erdogan knows how to play with them, and I think he just gives their interest to him.
Yeah, but you don't think that like it's a real shame that a country like Germany, which is basically secular and democratic, so it should be anti-terror, in favor of the free world and democracy and human rights, freedom of religion, and basically they are supporting together with the United States the Turkish agenda of the Muslim Brotherhood with Qatar all around the world. Like the West is going against itself.
But the West is, I don't have hope from them anymore. Like, it's not just about Turkey. Like, we don't see them sporting any human values in the Middle East anymore.
So you're basically saying that what you are doing right now as an activist, to work for all those goals, to fight terror, to fight for democracy, to fight for the Turkish people, you couldn't do it better than in Israel, like in a place in United States or Germany? That's basically what you are saying?
Yes, I think I would be more attacked, even especially if I would want to also support Israel. And it's difficult now. Of course, Israel gave me a lot for my perspective, for my personality. I wouldn't take any of this in Europe. Maybe if I would choose Europe to study, I would become like pro-Palestinian or even pro-Hamas. I don't know. So
if like in the next days, or maybe sometime in the future, you could meet our prime minister or our president, and I think you will, and or someone that really can help with those issues regarding Turkey and Qatar, what will you tell him? What should be done, like from your perspective, what did you want to tell him?
It's not
personally?
something Israel or Prime Minister should do. Like while Erdoğan is talking his language against Israel, what can Israel do alone, or what can Prime Minister can do alone? If Erdoğan goes and say we can occupy Jerusalem in 2 days, and so. Like, I think the first country that needs to change something is Turkey.
You don't think that maybe if leaders around the world will hear more voices like you, which is very rare nowadays, you like right now in exile in Israel, you haven't seen your parents for 2 years. Like, if you could speak to someone in the world, some leader, some president, that like your voice can be heard and change something, who would you speak to, and what would you say to him? Someone that can make it matter.
I would speak to people, because I think the people we need to change first, not the leaders. Because I think I would say, do not let your country to base for terror organizations, and I would talk with the media before the leaders.
What do you think that is also important for us to know at this time? We are also maybe 2 days before New Year. How does the New Year would look like in Turkey? Like, Turkey was basically the place that it was one of the birthplace of Christianity, especially of Orthodox Christianity. All the Crusaders wars were also in Turkey. It was basically with a lot of Greek and Roman history. How does Christians live nowadays in Turkey?
Christians, their population decreased a lot, like a lot. Most of them just moved and immigrate to other countries, and now their numbers are really low. But I think for now they're doing fine, and we're gonna also New Year is Christmas, and they celebrated 2 days ago, and I think they're now fine.
Now, I want to ask you about this alliance, which is spoke a lot nowadays, about the Turkeys intervening in what's happening in Africa, in Somalia, basically not in the favor of Israel, and also help our enemies like Iran and the Houthis maybe. And also, why did Greece and Cyprus decided to ally with Israel together against Erdogan's wills maybe to occupy places around the Balkans or maybe in the Middle East? Why does Greece feel so threatened nowadays? They decided to go in almost to a military act together with Israel.
I think it's I don't know if it's because they felt threatened. It's now for years, not just now. Since Erdoğan came over 20 years, he did really bad job with foreign policy, and we don't even have place to swim in Mediterranean now. And the Cyprus is such an important place to control Mediterranean Sea. And the only place that we have right now, the 10% of Libya, which is the government of Trablusgarp. And now the Greece and Cyprus, they want to have the power there. And also Israel, it's important, this sea roads and everything, and also there is oil in Cyprus, and the Turkish part of Cyprus didn't let the Greeks to take it out, and it was a whole thing. And also the sharing the space in the sea, and it's a really complicated conflict. And now Greece and Cyprus did something really smart and cooperated with Israel to control all these sea roads and like have the power in Mediterranean and Mediterranean Sea, and there was a smart move. What can I say? And what we did was quite stupid. We could also cooperate with Israel, with Cyprus and Greece, but I hope in the future Israel can be deal maker between us and Greece and Cyprus, and it will be better.
Okay, anything else that you wanna tell us maybe about your latest activity, maybe the delegation or human rights activity from your Instagram channel, or something which you want to share, or some other subject?
No, not really, but thank you so much, and it was really nice.
Thank you so much. Okay, thank you guys for being with us in this hour. Please follow Türkü Avçi on Instagram and also in Israeli TV, and also in Alex's Zeitlin's channel. Well, thank you very much for being with us. Thank you very much.